Another important part of leadership and business that's really important in skiing is the faster you're going, the further ahead you need to look. And that's important today with the changing environment. We need to take care of the duties that we have today, but we also need to still be keeping an eye out for where the trends are going and where we need to be positioned. I believe that we're all champions. We all have a champion within. We all have incredible potential. It's a matter of tapping that potential and maximizing it, being able to reach in and work on the specific areas that we need to focus on to get the most out of ourselves.
Thank you. Just before I move on, I want to share one more concept with this. If you can see at the back, it says keeping our actions, our thoughts, and our emotions on track as well. I've been talking about actions, but we can have off-track thoughts and emotions too, can't we? I had a phone call from a gentleman who was excited, took one of our seminar series, and he said, Cary, I had to phone you because I put that card on my computer monitor, and every incoming and outgoing email, and every incoming and outgoing phone call, and every person who walked in my office, I asked that question, is this on track or off track? And in 1 week, I saved 8 hours. I don't know if that's just something to have the same kind of impact, but I encourage you, try it for a week to see what kind of on-track, off-track actions or thoughts we might have in dating. Thank you. That was a system and a tool that helped me be able to qualify for Kitzbuhel. That's where we started our journey today. I just want to take you the rest of the way down the inspection run of Kitzbuhel. As you're standing on the Mausterfall, looking at the 70-yard flight off of that, then you're going to go into the carousel turn. Now, the carousel turn comes into the Stahlhang, and the Stahlhang is the most feared and famed turn in the world. It's a convex turn, and then it gets steeper and steeper. It starts at 52, it goes to 57, gets even steeper, and I'm thinking, how's this even possible? And I hear, look out, and I look up, and our team doctor's sliding past me on his butt, and he careens into the safety net. That's our doctor. He's supposed to be the safe guy. He was okay. But I was looking at the net, and I go, oh no, that's the net. That's the net that caught my teammate, Brian Stemmel, 3 years previous. And his crash was going over and over in my mind. Some of you might recall seeing it, as it was showed so many times on ESPN and CBC. As Brian came through the Stahlhang, he got a little bit back in his position, and the rough terrain bounced him out to the net, and unfortunately his ski hooked in the net. As his ski hooked in the net, the momentum kept carrying Brian downhill. It actually broke his pelvis and ripped him up inside. He was air ambulanced to the Innsbruck hospital with a 50-50 chance at life. Now, folks, now that I'm not competitively ski racing nowadays and I start getting stressed out about things, I try to think back to those kind of consequences. I think, gosh, Cary, take the piano off, get some perspective. Brian lived from that accident. The experts said he'd never walk again. He went on to walk again. The experts said he'd never ski again. He went on to ski again. The experts said he'd never race again. He went on to race again. He even went on to race Kitzbuhel again. Amazing. An amazing story of courage and commitment, and also being able to overcome what sometimes the experts say is even possible. He was able to do that, and I share with you, I remember, now you might have figured out already, downhillers were a little different. He was recovering, Brian was recovering from his accident miraculously. 3 months into it, he was still at the hospital, and the teammates went to watch him or come see him in the hospital to visit him. And one of the reasons he was able to recover so well is a doctor had come out with a new innovation to prevent infection, where they actually took his insides and they put them in a transparent bag on the outside of his body to prevent from infection. Now, the guys went to visit him in the hospital, and they took him a Big Mac and French fries. And they stuck around because they wanted to watch it go through that thing. So he recovered from that accident, but I was standing there on that corner of the Stahlhang looking at the net, and I knew what that net could do. The optimal line exits that turn 4 inches from the net. That's not much room for error on that turn. Some turns we have room for error. That's not one of them. I came in then inspecting the flats and then into the Zeal chutes. Now the Zeal chutes is the bottom of Kitzbuhel. What it is a 45-degree downhill, 45-degree side hill with whoop-de-doos and sheer ice. And I'm thinking, aren't they going to groom this? And I'm standing there on top of the 52-degree pitch, looking down, and I'm thinking, oh no, this is the spot. It started to run over and over in my mind the other crash of Todd Brooker, one of my other teammates. This is where he had his crash that they showed so many times on ESPN as he hooked an edge coming across the side hill, was knocked unconscious and cartwheeled the entire pitch of the Zeal shoes. Now, I share with the ladies and gentlemen, Todd recovered from that accident. He's a healthy guy today. He's got 3 happy kids, and he's a commentator for ESPN. But I share with you, I dreamed my entire life about getting to Kitzbuhel. And here I was in Kitzbuhel, and I didn't really want to be there. I wasn't really enjoying the challenge. I wasn't walking around going, oh yeah, here's one of those opportunities for growth. No. I had my stomach in my throat thinking, can I do this? Can I do it? Have I done all the training? Have I done all the preparation? Have I taken any shortcuts? Get on the Hanukkah bond and trying to visualize the entire 2-mile track up there. Memorizing every nuance, every corner. And the stress, it's building, looking for a way to release itself. It's interesting. You get up to the top of Kitzbuhel, and you get up to the start, and the entire pitch is all sheer ice, but you get to the start, it's all yellow snow at the top of Kitzbuhel. You're getting a visual, aren't you? You might have heard of liquid courage. I think that's liquid fear. Sprinkled at the top of Kitzbuhel. One of my teammates had trained his entire life. And he got to the top of Kitzbuhel, he did the inspection, and he got back to the start, and he said, I can't do it. And he pulled himself out. I hold nothing against that individual. I bumped into a colleague of mine named Steve Prino a few months ago, and he said, Cary, that's interesting you share that story. He said, you know what? You can use my name and use my story too, because he said, you know that happened to me as well. I went to Kitzbuhel, I did that inspection, and I could not get myself to do the race. He said, but isn't it interesting now, a few years later, those teammates of mine that crashed into the barn, their injuries have all healed up, but mine haven't. Wow. I think what Steve's saying is sometimes we regret the things we don't do more than the things we do. Sometimes